What's up, guys, and welcome to, not mine, but our spoiler review for Captain America Civil War. Here is my good old buddy Chancey Bradley. He has returned to this channel, and we're outside. Just felt like...
The movie sidekick has returned!
Yeah, we felt like we had to come out, you know what I mean, just to get some fresh air and give you guys some new environment.
But you haven't... This isn't the first time you've seen this. If you saw our previous review on It Follows...
Well, yeah, but it wasn't our last review we did, but it was done last year.
Yeah,
we did It Follows
in a different
review.
Location.
Right, so we got to switch it up every now and then, but yeah, this is a spoiler review, and like I told you guys in previous videos, we're trying to not keep it that long. Like, I don't want to make this a half-hour video. Maybe just like a 10-15 minute video, just to get our core thoughts about the film out there, and then to close up. But yeah, I mean, you want to start going on about it? You want to?
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think you guys. Well, since I wasn't here for the non-spoiler review, you guys don't know my opinions of it. But I did. But here's it. Like, I had some there was some like logic stuff, in my opinion, like logic problems that were going on. But I didn't think the movie was bad. So if you know from his non-spoiler review, you would have known, you know, Captain America and Iron Man are dueling over ideas, which honestly,
the Sokovia Accords. I think
the
that's
Sokovia Accords. Oh my God, that thing is so flawed.
Right. Yeah, the Sokovia Accords, which is either a civilized sort of Avengers society controlled by the government, or just the Avengers.
Weaponized Avengers.
Right, or just the Avengers being their private organization to go out and fight when they need to, you know, and save wherever. I mean, sure, people are going to die, but...
that was the whole thing that, I'm thinking, like, aren't you getting this in your head? Like everyone who is all for the Sokovia Accords, aren't you getting that in your head? It doesn't matter if you're going to tell them when and where to go. People are going to die, and if they don't take action immediately, more people are going to die.
Right. Now, this...
So their ideas by themselves are some of the most stupid ideas I've ever heard.
Right, but now we could get into spoilerific talk. So after talking about that, I think it goes to show how, towards the end of the film, in that airport action scene, when the two sides clash, I think it goes to show how sort of the government set that sort of fight up almost. You know, you had Iron Man being pretty much controlled and being told what to do by Thunderbolt Ross, who's great in the film, you know, and how the government is like, okay, we're going to evacuate the airport, and then you guys take them down here, you know what I mean? So that, it kind of makes sense to me, like maybe more than it does to you, if that's the way they were going to go about doing it, like how they handled it in that airport scene. Because you remember the Winter Soldiers, like, they're closing down the airport after they heard the thing, you know, they're evacuating the airport because they knew that something was going to go down. So it makes sense to me. If they handled the situations like that, you know what I mean? Like if the government was to say, okay, we're gonna evacuate this place, and then you go in and do what you need to do, it does make sense to me in that sense.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But then there's like certain parts of the... He went and got Spider-Man, which I mean, like, we're thinking, oh boy, Spider-Man, this is going to be great. No. It's a rebooted Peter Parker.
Right.
Someone who has no idea how to be a superhero.
Yeah, that's...
and Tony Stark, this big veteran superhero, decides that he's going to incorporate his help, whatever it was.
Right, because he's been, you know, he said in the film that he had some knowledge of the spider guy that's been hanging around, so he goes, he finds him when he needs the help.
Through YouTube.
Through whatever way he did find him, he gets him, and he gets him in, and he says, okay, you know what, we have a problem. I know that your circumstances are what you're dealing with now, and I could upgrade your stuff, and why don't you come in and, you know, help me out a little bit. Now, personally, for me, I love the inclusion of Spider-Man. I think this is one of the best.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is one of the best on-screen Spider-Mans we ever had.
I'm not saying that it was a bad thing to add Spider-Man, but it was like, you know, like, I was thinking, like, this was, like, I kind of thinking it was going to be a rebooted Spider-Man, but I was kind of thinking, like, oh, this is going to be, like, a slightly more experienced Spider-Man, like, you know, like, he's like someone like that's like from like like the events that happened like in the first Spider-Man, like the original Spider-Man, that kind of Spider-Man.
But this was a new actor.
This was a new actor,
a new take on it,
so yeah.
I mean, after
and I know they were like afterwards they were trying to like set this up for a new Spider-Man movie from Marvel. Thank God.
Yes, after Sony is given most of the rights of Spider-Man back to the MCU.
Thank you.
Now we have a new actor, which it worked. We don't need to get into the Amazing Spider-Man stuff. I didn't really enjoy those films. I thought they were kind of weak after watching them recently. But yeah, I really enjoy the inclusion of Spider-Man in this film. I think Tom Holland played him wonderfully, and I think he was a great addition. Black Panther, I thought he was a great addition.
He was amazing.
And his story of how he kind of had to avenge his father almost. He was trying to like find this guy that assassinated his father and blew up that whole...
who he thought was Bucky.
Who he thought was the Winter Soldier, which was a great sequence to where they're chasing after each other. You got Bucky running, then you got Black Panther running after him. You got Captain America running after. The action in this movie is phenomenal. Every single action sequence in this movie I thought was phenomenal. That airport sequence, now that we could talk about it more in depth, for me, one of the best action sequences I've ever seen in film.
Was it the best?
In general. I would have to think about it for a little bit, but it is damn close.
It is one of the best, but like there's like
I don't usually cheer in movies. Like I don't usually sit there and clap and laugh and stuff unless I actually feel
I enjoyed the scene, but it was like when Ant-Man like he grew big. It just made me think like, oh, I kind of wish Hulk was here.
Right. Well,
cause some mayhem. I mean, yeah, they caused mayhem.
Chancey hasn't seen Phase 2 of the MCU.
No, I haven't.
He's only seen Phase 1 in Civil War, so we can't tell you why Hulk wasn't here.
Yeah.
There is a reason.
I know that.
So don't judge it on that, because...
I know there's not a reason.
You wouldn't be saying that right now.
I wouldn't be saying it, and there's but there's a lot of things I'd like right now that I wouldn't be saying if I didn't see some of the most important things, like Winter Soldier.
Why, Thor wasn't there?
He's a god. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, I really don't know if he just didn't get the memo of what was going on or whatever, but there is a legit reason why Hulk wasn't there.
Well, he's the guardian of the whole Earth. He shouldn't be told by a government. He's a god. He shouldn't be told, unless it's by another god, he shouldn't be told what to do by the government.
Yeah, right, which kind of makes sense why he wasn't involved, because that could have just been
And Bruce, I think, if he doesn't want to get anyone hurt, no matter who it is, and he just wants to stay away from this problem as far away as possible.
Right, and you'll see that when you see the Phase 2 of how he, you know what I mean? I don't want to give anything away about that, but you will watch those films.
The one thing I didn't like, the one thing that one of the things that that truly just got me really mad was Tony.
Really?
Well, this is probably partly because of things that I didn't see Winter Soldier, Age of Ultron, Iron Man 3. I didn't see those movies, and that's why maybe after I see those movies,
your opinion will change.
My opinion will change. It probably will, but here's the thing. I mean, at first I felt bad for the guy. I mean, he's being labeled as a villain.
Well, look, spoilers. Tony Stark created Ultron.
No, duh.
Okay, yeah, just in case you didn't know that.
But I felt like he created Ultron, but he didn't know Ultron was going to do this kind of stuff.
No, but he did. You know what I mean? So it was just like he kind of, this is the way his coping process. You know what I mean?
And like
he feels it's right, but at the end of the film, he realizes he regrets it.
And then him and Pepper, which we thought was like one of the greatest relationships in the Marvel universe,
maybe in film history. They've taken a break.
They took a break.
Are we going to see her again? I would say yes.
She's a good part of the Iron Man franchise.
Right, but the only reason I think that the writers didn't want to put her in this movie, things would have just got too hectic and too boggled down, and there would have been too much going on.
Yeah, I know.
We didn't need her in the movie. And if that's the way they want to do it, say they took a break, fine. That's fine. It did not take away from the film. You know what I mean? Because that's not what it was about. The movie wasn't about an Iron Man 4. You know, it wasn't Tony and Pepper.
Not yet.
No, this was
Civil War.
Captain America's movie. Like it's
Captain's movie.
Right, at its heart, it was Captain America's movie because he's trying to save the Winter Soldier the whole time, and Bucky, he gets him, and he's trying to help him.
And there's the one thing.
Are you talking about the main villain? Can we talk about the main villain real quick?
He didn't even feel like a villain.
I felt as though that was just handled really weak. You know what I mean? Just like most Marvel villains in the MCU are just kind of weak. I felt the same for this guy, Crossbones, whatever, Zemo, whatever his name was.
Not Crossbones. Crossbones.
They're two different people?
Yeah, Crossbones was completely different because he died.
He died in the beginning of the movie, right?
He died in Lagos.
Okay, yeah. So, Zemo. What is his name?
I guess it's Zemo. Yeah. I honestly didn't care.
I just felt like that was kind of weak, and it was just kind of shoehorned in the film to get to certain characters to get to a point emotionally, like at the end of the film.
To kill each other.
Yes, at the end of the film, we could talk about Zemo created this plan to where he was going to show the footage of Bucky killing Tony's parents.
That was the one thing that
right in front of him. So that makes Tony
Here's the thing.
Snap in his head.
Here's the thing. That was the reason. That was the reason why I didn't like Tony. Where I stopped feeling bad for Tony. I started literally calling him an a-hole.
Because, he doesn't... I think he was just doing it because he saw, oh, this guy killed my parents. Even though if he was the Winter Soldier, I think he was just so conflicted in seeing that right before his eyes. Like, if you saw someone kill your parents on camera right in front of you, I don't think you're going to think about it. And if that guy is right next to you, you're going to try to kill him.
First off, I'm going to say this, and I probably shouldn't say this. Bruce Wayne watched his parents get murdered, with his own two eyes.
Right, but he was a kid, so he couldn't really do anything. When Tony had the power, Tony was in his Iron Man suit. Bruce Wayne was not Batman at that point. He was a child. What was he going to do? You know what I mean? What was he going to do?
Tony was a teenager when this happened.
No. When Tony saw his parents die in this film, Civil War, he was not a kid. He was not a teenager. He witnessed it in the proper time in Civil War. And he was just like, okay, wow, even though this happened then, I'm me now, and I'm going to kill this guy. You know what I mean?
For something he had no control over.
For something he had no control over, but I think he was just taken over by...
But that's not Tony. Because, here's the thing.
This is a very different side of Tony Stark.
In Tony's 1 and 2, it felt like he didn't even care.
No, he was just trying to kill him. Even though he kind of noticed that Bucky was changed at this point, I don't know. I don't really know. He was just, Star Wars reference, but he kind of went, Anakin Skywalker, evil. I'm going to kill Obi-Wan Kenobi. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it was. If I have to kill you, I'll kill you.
And then he tries to kill Steve.
Right, yes.
Because he got in the way.
Yeah. And that whole... But I feel like that was a fine conclusion in the movie.
And then there was...
Because in the airport scene, I felt like the Civil War between the two sides had kind of come to a head. And then Cap's side was taken hostage by the government.
Well, they chose to stay there.
But...
Be the sacrificial lamb for Steve and Bucky.
Right, but now... Yeah, right. But now at the end of the film, we see...
He breaks them out. But there was one scene. There's one scene... It's nearing the end. It's nearing the very end of the airport scene, where Bucky and Captain America, Winter Soldier and Captain America, start flying off in this big spaceship. Tony and Rhodes fly off. Falcon's coming in. He's right behind Rhodes.
Yeah, is that that's so Vision is the
and then Tony's like, Vision, bring him down.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking, are you crazy? But here's another thing. He didn't tell. Here's the thing. Falcon ducked.
Yeah.
He kind of knew what was going to happen, and he ducked.
Right.
He didn't tell Rhodes to duck. What does he do? He practically... So who caused Rhodes paralysis? Sure, Vision, but Tony did. Tony, in hindsight, caused Rhodes to be paralyzed from the legs down.
Right, yeah. He could have said, let's move to the side or something, I guess,
And then he takes it out on Falcon.
Right, but there's another example of how Tony was at the end of the film when he was just like when he saw his parents' death, he wanted to kill Bucky. In the same situation, he was trying to do what he needed to do. So I don't think he was, you know what I mean? But I do get what you're saying. I'm not going to disagree with you because I do completely understand what you're saying.
This wasn't the guy who... I honestly, at one point, I actually idolized. I actually idolized him when he was in the Avengers. I liked his suave, his almost cocky nature. Because he felt like it. What are you gonna do?
Right, but once you see Phase 2, you'll see the character develop.
Yeah, I know.
So that
hopefully my opinions change.
And I think it will.
But I think one thing that what was it? The Sokovia?
Mhm.
The Sokovia Accords.
Which was the location in Age of Ultron that got obliterated at the end of the film.
Yeah. The one thing that I've been I've been practicing practicing saying my lines about this is just how flawed it is. Like, what is it? Like 115 countries.
Yeah.
A whole panel with people from 115 countries of the United Nations are going to discuss where and when and what the Avengers are going to act.
Right. And that would take a bit of a long time.
First off, not only that, but emphasis on the Avengers. So, I haven't seen Ultron, but I know the gist of it. So, let's, for 1 second, let's forget that this Civil War never happened. Let's just think that one key thing from Age of Ultron never happened, which was Hawkeye talking to Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver never dying. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver decide they are going to be heroes, but guess what? They're not joining the Avengers. Now, going into this, and and let's go to a bigger extreme and say that Captain America and them did sign the Sokovia Accords. Guess who's out there saving people and the Avengers signed the thing. There's going to be peace. There's not going to be any more collateral. Yeah. No, because Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver and God knows who has powers are out there saving people and causing the collateral. And really, and guess what? The Sokovia Accords can't touch them because they're not part of the Avengers.
That's a great theory.
The only way,
not really a theory, but that's not
the only way that the Sokovia Accords would be able to touch them is if they became Avengers, and the Avengers could. And guess what they could say? They could say no.
If things happened like that, yeah.
If things happen like that, and guess what? And because when push comes to shove, there's going to be a fight. But like I said, just imagine Hawkeye never talked to these people. All right, to the Avengers, these people. They have no idea who they are ghosts, so they don't know about Scarlet Witch's telekinetic powers. They don't know that Quicksilver is literally Marvel's The Flash. All right, and God knows who else is with them. They have no idea what their powers are. They don't know their strengths. They don't know the weaknesses. They are fighting a blind fight.
Yeah,
and that is a situation in which you should never be in.
If things went that way, then you could have wrote the script yourself, buddy. If you really did some thinking about it.
That's what for all you guys don't know, I was actually creating a fan-made Marvel character. All right, and we could do another filming of this where I just discuss them.
Another video.
But it has to do with this kind of thing, except this Civil War has already happened and stuff like this. But I guess it does kind of pull onto Tony a little bit more because this character has a little bit more of a relationship with Tony, probably a little bit more than Rhodes does.
Yeah, I just want to say that the way that the story played out and the way things went, I personally am a very big fan of. Again, my opinions are the same about the movie. Kind of a weak villain, and
I mean, I'm not gonna say. Really. I'm not dissing this movie. This movie was a phenomenal. The action scene was great.
It was a great film.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really funny. I mean, it was funny.
Right. Yeah.
Especially, can you move your seat?
Oh yeah,
no.
Move your seat up. Yeah, that.
Move your seat up. No.
And I was cracking up during the airport scene with Ant-Man and how he got.
Ant-Man and Spider-Man for that, they were just comedy relief.
Right. Yeah, but I think they worked though.
It worked because it kind of it put some hilarity thing because this is probably Ant-Man just right out of his film.
Out of the Ant-Man film.
Out of the Ant-Man film.
Takes place after that, yeah.
Almost immediately afterwards, so he's kind of tired.
So let's talk about this. Going from here, what happens next? From the plot we have, what happens next?
Well, Steve did give Tony the cell phone to call them, so chances are Tony's probably thinking, these acts aren't doing anything.
No, obviously they're going to team up when Thanos comes for Infinity War. You know what I mean? Obviously.
Absolutely.
So what's next? We got Doctor Strange next, which really is his own thing, its own origin story.
He might be in Infinity War.
Might be. We got to see. And then we have Thor Ragnarok. Thor 3.
Thor Ragnarok, and there's possibly an Iron Man 4.
Not in this phase.
Not in this phase?
No, that's
next
not gonna,
phase?
I don't know. I don't know how they would do it. Because my thoughts after Infinity War, these characters are pretty much, it's time to start.
They're tired.
Yeah, it's time to start a new sort of thing. So we would have to see what happens with that, but I think this film was phenomenal. I think it furthered the story just enough. I thought it introduced the new characters wonderfully.
Yeah, I really liked how they introduced the new rebooted Spider-Man, how they introduced Black Panther.
Wonderful.
Who in the comics, one of my favorite superheroes.
Mm-hmm. And for me personally, I thought the Henry Jackman score wasn't very memorable. I don't know if that's just me, but I didn't really find the score to be anything too fantastic.
No, it wasn't that fantastic. But overall,
I liked the Winter Soldier score. Mm-hmm. I didn't love it. I think this score is not even as good as that. So, but that's just me.
Overall, like you've heard me rant about certain things that I didn't like.
But that's small.
But that's really small stuff. That's stuff that what if? That's what if stuff.
Let's move over to that bench because it's getting kind of dark over here. I'm not even going to edit this. No, I'm not.
So yeah. If
oh, it's a lap right over here.
If that's small stuff. That's what if stuff. So overall, I love the movie.
Yeah, I did too. I gave it a 4.5 when I saw it.
I'm gonna have to give it a 4.5 too.
Did you give the same rating? Okay.
I mean, it wasn't my. It's not. It's for all intents and purposes, it's not being the Avengers, the original Avengers.
No, not for me either. Now, out of this, you saw the Phase 1, which is 6 films, including Civil War. Would you be able to, as of right now, it's a little weird, but would you be able to do a top 7?
I would say Avengers.
Mm-hmm. At number 1.
Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Captain America.
Which one? First one?
Yeah, because I didn't see Winter Soldier.
Okay.
I didn't see any.
I don't know if it was 1 or 3.
Oh yeah, Captain America 1.
The first Avenger. Yeah.
Yeah. Iron Man 1.
Mm-hmm.
Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Man 2.
Okay. For me, I already gave you guys my top 13, but I'll give it again. I'm going to run through it quickly, real fast. Number 1, The Avengers. Number 2, the first Iron Man. 3, Civil War. 4, I have Ant-Man, thank you. 5, Guardians of the Galaxy. 6, Age of Ultron. 7, Thor. 8, Captain America, the First Avenger. 9, The Winter Soldier. 10, Iron Man 3. 11, 10, The Incredible Hulk. 11, Iron Man 3. 12, Thor the Dark World. 13, Iron Man 2. That was tough. I don't even have it written down. I'm just doing it off the top of my head. But, yeah, that's my.
But if we have time, after this, we're probably going to talk about my character.
Yeah, that's going to be a video for the future. And guys, I want you to know we're also going to do, after Doctor Strange comes out, I'm sure you'd have seen Phase 2 already. We'll do a whole top 14 for you guys.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
But another thing that we were going to do before this was a whole Ultimate Civil War, where we bring in everybody from the Marvel Universe and pit them against each other, see who's on whose side. We wanted to do that, but we were unable to.
Because of time.
Because of time constraints, stuff like that. But please, like this video and comment below if you want us to still do that.
Yeah, anything. But yeah, guys, that's our opinions. That's our non-spoiler. What am I saying? That's our spoiler review for Captain America: Civil War. Guys, you could comment in the comment section. Tell us your spoilerific thoughts about the film. You can subscribe to this channel. I've posted reviews recently for The Darkness, for Money Monster. Upcoming reviews, you got Neighbors 2. Maybe you join me, maybe you won't. I don't know. We'll see. You got Angry Birds. You got The Nice Guys. You got X-Men Apocalypse. You got Alice Through the Looking Glass. That ends May's summer movies. Yeah, you could follow me on Facebook and Twitter. The links to those are in the description of this video. You could also follow me on Snapchat at RyanKing72 and on Instagram at KingArises131. Well, yeah, guys, that's about it. Thank you very much for watching our spoiler review for Captain America: Civil War.
We'll see you soon.
Over and out. Take a walk through this graveyard.
Yeah.